Hello, darlings, and welcome to another one-card draw tarot reading character prediction for Dragon Age 4 Dragon Age Dreadwolf. I almost did it again. I swear. Okay, so which character are we getting now? Fenris! And I was just thinking about him earlier today for Fenris fic. Just brief outline stuff, but anyway. I digress. Fenris, and in the comics, Fenris was, and he was in Blue Wraith. Fenris could potentially have romanced Hawke. Fenris, I guess, could potentially be dead, or rare world states, could potentially have been given back to Danarius. I don't like that so much. But Fenris has a lot of knowledge in regards to Tevinter. Yes, Dorian has knowledge about Tevinter, about the Venatori, but maybe about the mages, but Fenris has knowledge about the slavers, about the mages who use elves, about the elves who want to rebel, the elves who want to escape. He would be excellent as an advisor. I am definitely hoping for Fenris to be an advisor in Tevinter. He knows his way around Tevinter, the sneaky underground paths. You know, Dorian would be the one to, you know, the main sections, and Fenris, the behind the scenes sections. He has so much knowledge because he lived there for so long, experienced so many things. He knows what experiments mages there do to the elven slaves. He has knowledge about perhaps the rebellions and different things. Perhaps even, okay, so it wasn't hinted at in the missing. Maybe it could have been. It would have been interesting for him, not necessarily to appear, but does he have links to Neve? Does he have links to the shadow dragons, you know, helping elves in Tevinter? Or is he working independently, you know? And after Blue Wraith, he was basically working independently, but he helped and was helped by Vea and Francesca and those, all of them. So he knows them. And so he has links to the Inquisition through them. He has links to Hawke. Also, whether romance or friended Hawke, he might go visit Hawke in Weishaupt. If Hawke was left in the Fade, would Fenris be inclined to, how devastated would he be? Would he try to enter the Fade? Would he try to find out if Hawke is still alive somehow in the Fade? What would he do in that scenario? And his special abilities, his special skill, which is rather unique, could be served to help against the Venatori, against, you know, the slavers in Tevinter, could help the Dragon Age 4 protagonist, could also serve to help against Solus, against the Avenuris, other threats, just as great threats, even perhaps against the Kunari. How would he use his skills? And I'm very curious, his skills against the Avenuris, his kills, would they amount to kills? Would he be able to defeat an Avenuris, such as Solus or Gillanane, you know, or the old gods, you know? So how, and into Tevinter, I see him into Tevinter. I really want him as an advisor. Would he be a companion again? I don't think he'd be a companion again. Perhaps he would accompany us on a mission, but definitely, please, advisor, because it's just too fitting. It's just too fitting, and there's so many possibilities with Fenris. I know that I'm skipping some. I know that I'm missing some, but definitely. Okay. We'll leave it at that now we'll let the cards say what they have to say in regards to Fenris in Dragon Age 4, Dragon Age Dreadwolf, and his role in Dragon Age 4 and his relationship with the Dragon Age 4 protagonist. What will Fenris's relationship be? Will he be an advisor? Okay, this is reversed. Okay, we have the Knight of Chalices. So another cups for today. The Knight of Cups reversed. So a Knight of Cups reversed. I'm thinking knight, like he's a warrior, so that's fitting. So this is interesting. In the Dragon Age Inquisition Tarot deck, the Knight of Cups is Samson. Templars fight mages. Fenris is fighting mages. Red Templars had joined the Venatori. They are following Corypheus's. They're still continuing Corypheus's mission. So I can definitely see a link and Fenris, fighting against that. So reversed, the card represents flattery. Flattery, I would see, it says flattery, insincerity. So I would see an enemy pretending to be an ally, being overly flattering towards Fenris. He would probably see through the ruse, or maybe towards us, the Dragon Age the Dragon Age 4 protagonist, and maybe Fenris comes to help us. Maybe it could be Fenris comes to help us, or we go to help Fenris. But if Fenris is an advisor, and if Fenris knows Tevinter, we need his help. It's Fenris helping us. That's what I see. So I see the flattery, insincerity being towards the protagonist, and Fenris helps, not between the protagonist and Fenris. Emotional blockage. Fenris has been through a lot of traumatic experiences. So I definitely understand and see how emotional blockage is relevant to Fenris as in general, as a whole, his personality. And, well, not necessarily personality, but like the way he is. It could be linked to Hawke. If Hawke is in the Fade, emotional blockage could be in regards to other things. It could also be maybe he doesn't want to go back to Tevinter. Maybe he left and he's done with it and we need his help, and he has an emotional blockage in regards to that. False friends. I hope that the relationship between the Dragon Age 4 protagonist and Fenris would not be a false friendship. I do see false friendships. It would be really of a downer if he discovered false friendships, but maybe false friends with us, and then he helps us. False friends could also mean, someone. It goes with the insincerity. Someone that is false, someone who claims to want to help, and maybe we find ourselves in a bit of a pickle because of that, or maybe Fenris finds himself in a bit of a pickle, or he advises us about it. Roughness, the slaves. There's roughness in the streets. In the sense of it's rough. That life is rough and tough, and he wants to free them from that. He wants to help them. Deception. Who will deceive Fenris? Who will deceive us? What deception will arise that will bring Fenris and the Dragon Age 4 protagonist to help each other? Lack of grace. Lack of grace, lack of... I don't see that with Fenris. Maybe the Dragon Age 4 protagonist lacks grace. Conniving. This is a really negative one. Conniving. So it might have to do with a mission that we meet him on. Or if he's not an advisor, maybe for a main quest. Definitely I can see a scenario where we are introduced to Fenris through a false friend, trying to maybe trap both of us, and we end up helping each other. So there's conniving there, but conniving can also be flipped to be a good thing. It can be Fenris and us conniving, so strategizing against the false friend, against the enemy. Fraudulent schemes. Fraudulent, that goes with the other stuff. Fraudulent schemes. Someone who's false. Maybe someone who joins the Shadow Dragons who falsely wants to help. You know, I don't see the Shadow Dragons as being false necessarily, based on what we saw in The Missing. And I don't know if Fenris would trust the Shadow Dragons or not. Maybe there would be mistrust, and there would be fraudulent schemes with other people causing such a mistrust, potentially. Atheism, not believing in the old gods, not believing in the Evanurus, not believing in the Maker. Is Fenris? Fenris is a believer. Ugliness, the false friend, but internal ugliness. So whoever is conniving, whoever is scheming. Sabotage. That makes me think, you know, we want to help each other. We need his help. Maybe someone's trying to sabotage that. Maybe someone's trying to sabotage him or sabotage us, and that's how we meet. Refusal to change or let go. That's so sad, because that makes me think of Hawke in the Fade, not wanting to let go of Hawke, not wanting to change, not wanting to let go could also be linked to his past, and maybe there's some things he'll have to let go of and adapt in order to help us. I can see that. But that's not necessarily entirely a bad thing. It can lead to much good if overcome. Evil, corruption. Yes, evil, corruption with the conniving, with whoever's scheming against Danarius. I mean, there is still one Danarius alive if in the world states the other Danarius is dead. Danarius Jr, as I like to call him, as far as we know, he has the red lyrium idol. So, you know, so maybe there's, okay. So what if Fenris is hunting Danarius Jr. and potentially wants to get his hands on the red lyrium idol? Or whether he wants it or not, he's hunting Danarius Jr. and we help him. And Danarius Jr. is conniving, he's ugly, he's fraudulent, he's false, he's insincere, he's everything this card is, and he has a past relationship. If his father kept Fenris as a slave, then Danarius Jr. has a past relationship with Fenris, and maybe he is the subject of the mission Fenris and we meet. Death. The death of Danarius. I don't see it as the death of Fenris, but it could be a good thing. It could be the death of whatever, as we say esoterically, does not serve him. So whatever he needs to overcome, the death of that, and then he becomes like the new and improved Fenris, like the higher purpose, higher self version of himself, where he can go back to Tevinter, he can help us, he can advise us, he's overcome all these things, he can free slaves, he can help us free slaves, he can maybe help the shadow dragons, you know, the reaching the higher self and shedding whatever needs to be shed. So it could be the death of that. It could be the death of the past, letting go of the past, of his past, so that he can move on and find peace and in what he's doing now, to be able to continue his mission, free slaves with this higher purpose without this dragging him down, because he deserves to be happy. He deserves a good life despite the past and despite what he might feel in regards to all that he lived, which is definitely what, and especially when romanced in Dragon Age 2, we see him overcome so much already and just, shed that past, let go, and become, a new Fenris. He still has all of that in his memory. It makes him stronger. It makes him, and it would make him an incredible advisor. And especially if Danarius Jr. appears for the mission, that would be really interesting. So this is an exciting one. I like picking Fenris. I really hope he'll be one of the, I'm hoping a handful of advisors, and I'm hoping he's going to be one of the handful of advisors in Dragon Age 4. Maybe a companion, and he's going to have a lot of insight, and I'm really curious to see what his reaction is and what he's going to bring to the table, especially in regards to his relationship to Hawke. If Hawke is in the Fade, what's going on with Fenris there? And if Hawke is at Wastehopped, do we see him at does it change where we find him and the mission? So I'm very curious for that. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. How excited are you for Fenris to return in Dragon Age 4? I mean, it's unconfirmed, but how excited would you be if it was confirmed and if you saw Fenris on your screens in Dragon Age Dreadwolf? I'd gush. I'd be so happy to see Fenris. Dorian and Fenris as advisors, and I can even imagine banter between the two, playful banter, kind of like, because there would be like a playful rivalry between them. Oh, I definitely see that, and I'm all for it. I'm all for it. So let me hear your thoughts in the comments below before I repeat myself again. And like this video if you like it, subscribe to be Jimmy Approved, and I'll see you all soon, and hopefully we're all going to see Fenris soon. Masaranas.